show Canelo Alvarez body shots. Like maybe there's a video we could look. He's got a beautiful one where he steps in and just and rips that left to the liver, and just your body just goes deep. It just fucking shuts down. It's the weirdest feeling, man. It's like your legs stop working, everything stops working. Your whole body just seizes up.
Joe Rogan claimed that Canelo Alvarez would destroy Terence Crawford in a possible clash. He said that while Crawford is a great fighter, Canelo's size and power edge would be too much. Rogan pointed out that Canelo's time in heavier weight divisions and his knockout strength would give him a clear upper hand. He stated Canelo would control the ring against Crawford. Rogan also noted the big gap in natural size and strength between them, saying Crawford hasn't fought someone as big and dangerous as Canelo. This sparked big talk in the boxing world, with many backing Rogan's take, while others feel Crawford's sharp skills could cancel out Canelo's size edge. Rogan's view has stirred up more chatter about whether the two might fight, adding to the drama on how that bout could unfold. Fans are hooked on this dream clash, but Rogan warns that Canelo's raw strength and fight-ending shots may be too much for Crawford to take. In the meantime, Ryan Garcia is back on social media, starting new Twitter drama, this time calling out both Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez with a new batch of trash talk. Their war of words has grown louder lately. Crawford was on Logan Paul's show giving his take on Ryan Garcia. Hype grew when Canelo's view on facing Crawford caused a big stir, especially after remarks from His Excellency Turki Alalshik raised the buzz over that clash. Ryan Garcia did not hold back when blasting Terence Crawford. He praised Crawford's clear skills but said the man from Nebraska is not on the same level as himself or Canelo Alvarez. He praised Crawford's strong athletic skill, but stressed that, in his eyes, Crawford still has far to go before matching fighters like him or Canelo. You're a skilled, focused athlete, but you're not on the level of me or Canelo, Garcia said. He mocked Crawford, saying he used people close to him, but hasn't done much with it. Then, Garcia took things up a notch by openly daring Crawford to face him directly and end the rivalry for good. These remarks from Garcia may have been triggered by Crawford's recent thoughts on Canelo Alvarez. When asked about fighting Canelo seemed open to it, but said it would depend heavily on the money involved. Canelo added that taking on Crawford at 168 pounds would be easy work. Later, in a talk with Shaw Zeidel and Sean Showtime Porter, Crawford replied strongly, pushing back on Canelo's take, especially his thoughts on weight and cash. Crawford said that Canelo, who once fought smaller guys like Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Amir Khan, now seems unwilling to share the ring with him. He also questioned Canelo's pay claims, hinting that besides the Mayweather fight, his other major paydays may not be as huge as he states. Crawford believes Canelo's real reason for holding back may be fear of risking damage to his own standing in the sport. Furthermore, Ryan Garcia has openly shared his views on a possible fight, leaving no room for doubt or confusion. In a recent talk, Garcia, known for his bold words, dismissed Crawford as an overrated fighter and firmly said Alvarez would win if they ever met in the ring. In an honest chat with Say Cheese TV, Garcia didn't hold back. He called Crawford a boring boxer, insisting the attention he gets isn't earned and that he's just taking money from boxing. The young fighter, currently banned for doping, even dared Crawford to step in the ring if he thought Garcia was bluffing. Garcia's words were shockingly bold, especially given his suspension and the uproar over his failed drug test earlier this year. The hype about a possible fight between Crawford and Alvarez grew when Crawford won his fourth world title by beating Israel Mavria for the WBA super welterweight belt. Saudi Arabian boxing boss Turki Alek was excited to set up the fight and reportedly invited Alvarez. However, Alvarez turned down the offer, which made Alek lose interest in that fight. Now, Alek is suggesting a new interesting match, Crawford against the undefeated American star Virgil Ortiz Jr. Although Alek has shifted focus, fans are still eager for the anticipated fight. Boxing fans continue to talk about the possible battle between Crawford, who has a perfect record of 41 wins, and Alvarez, who recently fought Edgar Berlanga, fresh from a winning start in the 154 pounds class. Crawford might move up to a heavier division to face Alvarez, who fights at 168 pounds. Alvarez, while open to fighting Crawford, is said to have demanded a massive $150 million payday. Garcia's criticism of Crawford has sparked debate about whether the fight would live up to expectations. He downplayed Crawford's skills, saying that despite the Omaha fighter's honors, he isn't at Alvarez's level. He takes a lot of hits. He's not untouchable, Garcia said. Confident he could beat Crawford, each fighter is following their own path, but the potential fight between Alvarez and Crawford remains a tempting possibility. Garcia's strong words have certainly stirred up excitement in the boxing world. Canelo Alvarez is one of boxing's biggest stars, his fame drawing many challengers eager to fight the Mexican legend. Though many challengers are less known, some like Terence Crawford offer a strong, interesting challenge for Alvarez after Crawford's major win over Errol Spence Jr. in 2023, making him the first male boxer with undisputed titles into weight classes. He showed a strong wish to fight the current super middleweight champion, but the Guadalajara native didn't return the interest. Alvarez said the big size difference between them was a big problem, making the fight unlikely. Crawford's fight against Israel Madamo, his first at super welterweight, increased debate among critics who say Crawford might be too small for the super middleweight champion. Boxing legend and Hall of Famer Roy Jones Jr. made a bold prediction about a fight between Crawford and Alvarez in a recent interview with Fight Hub TV. He said, "Do I think Canelo can beat Crawford? It's a hard fight to call. I think size may be his best asset, but if he tries to box Crawford, he won't beat him. Crawford is a good boxer. If Crawford can handle Canelo's punches, he'll outbox him. The fight will be decided by who wants it more and who has a better plan. If Crawford can get Canelo to box, Crawford will win." Terence Crawford recently won the WBA super welterweight title with a strong win over Israel Madrimov from Nebraska. Crawford is aiming to win the undisputed world titles in the 154 pounds class. His win over Madrimov has set him on a good path toward that goal. Promoter Eddie Hearn, speaking for Madrimov, recently caused a stir with the bold claim that if Crawford doesn't fight Canelo Alvarez, he may never fight again. In an interview with Fight Hub TV, Hearn said, "I don't think Terence Crawford will fight again unless it's against Canelo. He definitely won't fight Virgil Ortiz or rematch Madrimov. He made a lot of money and seems comfortable. Recently, Crawford has become one of boxing's top stars. He wants to secure his legacy and make a big payday, but making this fight happen is tricky because of the challenges involved." In a recent interview with Co-Artist Sports, Hearn said Crawford is focused only on this fight. "I don't think Crawford will fight again unless it's with Canelo Alvarez. No fights with Virgil Ortiz, no rematches with Madrimov, no fights with Boots, so who else is left?" This shows Crawford's clear goal to fight Canelo and rules out other opponents for now. Making this long-awaited fight happen is difficult, especially with huge financial demands reportedly around $150 million. The talks are complicated, but Crawford seems ready to skip other fights for this career-making chance. "Until he gets that fight with Canelo, I don't think he'll fight again," added Hearn, stressing Crawford's determination. This expected fight could be a huge event for boxing fans worldwide and could change the careers of both fighters. For Crawford, fighting Canelo is the peak of his goals, a chance to finish his great career with a big win. But the fight is still far away. Even the famous matchmaker Turki Alashi couldn't convince Canelo to accept the fight with Crawford. Meanwhile, the two-time undisputed champ wants to face the Mexican boxing star but doesn't want to seem too eager. At a press event for Alvarez's fight with Edgar Berlanga, promoter Eddie Hearn jokingly said he used Canelo's name to help promote Crawford's fight with Madrimov. Crawford found that disrespectful, saying, "He's trying to stay friends, but it's disrespectful because we didn't need to use Canelo's name to promote anything," he told Shaw's Idol on the Porterway podcast. Recently, boxing reporter Michael Benson asked Hearn about Crawford feeling disrespected by Hearn's comments about Canelo. "He's a bit sensitive, isn't he?" Hearn said, explaining he was joking with Canelo when he made the comment. "Was I joking? Well, yes and no. We don't use Canelo's name, but he was a big topic that week." Hearn's words have some truth. This is the fight fans want to see. Crawford has said before he wants to fight Canelo. "Everyone wants to talk about Crawford versus Canelo, so yeah, we will talk about it," he said. As expected, Hearn didn't apologize for his words. The buzz around a fight between two pound-for-pound stars is hard to ignore, and adding Canelo to the mix has made Crawford's last fight even more exciting. Interestingly, Terence said in an earlier interview that it's very unlikely Canelo will fight Crawford. The famous British promoter told Support that Alvarez would probably choose David Benavidez over Crawford. I think he'd pick Benavidez because he'd get more credit for that win, unlike against a guy 3 divisions below, Hearn said. He added that when he met Canelo, he wasn't excited about the Crawford fight. Canelo thought a welterweight, moving up to light middleweight, and then to super middleweight wouldn't earn him any credit.
Were you talking the whole meal thing?
So we said we have to use your 97 show.
Yeah.
You know.
That's what I think.
You good? Everything good?
Yeah.
Good. See you in a minute.
Recently, Canelo Alvarez talked about a possible fight with Terence Crawford in an interview with Boxing. Seen for this matchup to happen, Crawford must first face Sebastian Fundora, as required by the World Boxing Organization. I'm not saying the fight with Crawford can't happen. The order doesn't matter, said the Jalisco native. The super middleweight champ revealed that Turki Alek proposed the fight in February 2025. Alvarez might have a few years left in his career, but many fans worry Crawford's prime could be fading. Meanwhile, the monster Naoya Inoue is just 31, suggesting many strong years ahead. For fans who've seen these stars rise, the big question is what comes next? What happens to these legends once they retire? Who will take over and carry on their legacies? These are worries shared by former two-division champ Timothy Desert Storm Bradley, reflecting what many fans feel. Just last month, Crawford won the WBA light middleweight title, while Inoue recently defended his undisputed belt. The Mexican star is set to fight again soon. Canelo's gone once Crawford hangs them up. Once Inoue hangs them up, who do we have left? Asked Bradley, curious about who'll succeed these multi-division champs, known for his epic trilogy. With Manny Pacquiao, Bradley urges fans to respect these greats while they still compete. Because once they're gone, boxing will kind of be dead, no lie, he said. But looking closer, Bradley might find hope in heavyweight legends. In 3 months, Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk will rematch. Usyk, with an Olympic gold, unified cruiserweight titles, and now the first undisputed heavyweight champ of this century, turns 38 in January. This December fight might be one of his last before thinking about retirement. Fury, though saying he'll fight 5 more times, may also be near his career end. Bradley's thoughts hit home. Once Canelo, Crawford, Inoue, and Usyk retire, who'll have the heart and will to reach boxing's peak? It's a sobering thought, but some argue the old stars must step aside for new fighters. After Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, and Lennox Lewis, the sport briefly slowed but was soon filled by Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Manny Pacquiao. Many fans find it hard to see anyone replacing Alvarez, Crawford, or Inoue, but change is natural. Embracing it is key for boxing's future. Meanwhile, speculation grows about Canelo's only realistic next fight after Edgar Berlanga. Most, including Adam Cattle of Talk Sport, believe David Benavidez should be in the other corner. Benavidez, a former WBC super middleweight champ, has become the top contender for Canelo's 168 pounds title. The Mexican monster held the WBC mandatory spot for over a year, after beating former champs David Lemieux, Caleb Plant, and Demetrius Andrade. Despite being a former pound-for-pound king, Canelo has shown little urgency to finalize this fight, frustrating fans. I don't understand how we ended up with the Edgar Berlanga fight. Cattle told Talk Sport from Vegas. He's not really, in my opinion, the right guy to be dancing with the best 168-pounder, but there were a few other recent opponents. I could say the same about the best fight at 168 pounds is him versus David Benavidez. I hope it happens. People think Benavidez can beat Canelo. Frustrated by the weight, Benavidez moved up to light heavyweight in June, winning the WBC interim title against Alexander Gaskin. He now faces the winner of the October 12th fight between Dmitry Bivol and Artur Beterbiev. Cattle added, Canelo's been there, done that. We all saw what Floyd did to him years ago. A bit of experience and ring IQ can help him handle Benavidez. If the money's right, he'll take it. And yes, it should happen next. It should be happening now. But a Canelo-Benavidez fight seems more unlikely than ever, with former IBF super lightweight champ Paulie Malignaggi doubting it will ever happen. I don't care who Canelo fights if he vacates the titles. I've been saying for 2 years Benavidez runs him over like a train hitting a stuck car. Malignaggi told Talk Sports Talk Boxing podcast. I stick with that. Canelo's hesitation to fight is mandatory only proves my point. I don't think he'll fight Benavidez. The only reason I want to see it is for the belts. I'm more excited about other fights than Canelo's. Terence Crawford seems Canelo's likeliest next opponent, As mentioned, Turkey Alec has long aimed for this super fight. Recently, he said Crawford is focused only on fighting Canelo. Crawford has to face WBO and WBC super welterweight champ Sebastian Fundora in a big unification fight, but it's unclear if he'll go through with it. Even with fans and media pressure mounting, Canelo stays calm. He says he's open to fights if the money's right, but believes none will boost his legacy. He seems to respect Crawford, who recently joined the elite club of four-weight world champs. Before that, Crawford scored a career-defining win over Errol Spence Jr., the one rival Canelo considers a real challenge among Crawford's 40 fights. According to TMZ, Canelo said, "I always say I respect Terence Crawford, he's very talented. But he's just one big fight. If you look at his record, he's only beaten one great fighter, Errol Spence. He did a good job with Spence. It looked easy. I know Crawford's great. Crawford holds titles at lightweight, super lightweight, welterweight, and super welterweight, having gone undisputed in 2 of those divisions. Along the way to pound-for-pound fame, he beat Sean Porter, Kell Brook, Julius Indongo, Victor Postal, and Ricky Burns. But these wins don't impress Canelo much. Still, he said he's up for the fight, though a bit indifferent. You never know in boxing. We'll see." Many believe Crawford might quit if he can't beat Canelo. When Manik Akopian asked Alvarez why he thought the fight was easy, he hinted it was due to weight difference. We saw in his last fight with Israel Madrimov. That's why we have weight classes. It's an easy fight for me. Crawford won a unanimous decision over Madrimov to claim the WBA super welterweight world title. But that fight ended his streak of 10 straight knockouts. Some speculate his power is less effective at the higher weight. Canelo said he'd consider an offer, adding, "Why not? We're in boxing." But when pressed on how much he'd charge, he returned focus to Berlanga. "I'm 100% focused on my fight on Saturday. You already asked, and I answered. Why would Crawford, usually a lighter fighter, challenge Canelo, a natural 168 pounds champ? Given the weight gap and risks, it's a bold move." In his last fight at 154 pounds, Crawford faced Israel Madrimov in a tough full-distance bout, winning by unanimous decision. Terence Crawford's leap up to weight classes to fight Canelo Alvarez is daring. Yet Joe Rogan, top US podcaster and UFC analyst, sees clear reasoning. On the JRE, talking with UFC welterweight champ Belal Muhammad, Rogan explained Crawford wants the big payday. He called Canelo the best boxer around, and that fight would bring huge money. Rogan said Crawford's main goal is the big money fight with Canelo. The 57-year-old combat expert said the showdown would be a perfect final chapter for Crawford's career, setting him up for retirement.